Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the books I am hoping to read in May. I'm filming this the first weekend of May. I'm not sure how soon I'll be able to post it, but hopefully by the end of this week, so you should be able to see it before too much of May has gone by. April was quite a slow reading month for me. I'm going to be filming my April stats in a minute, so you'll see I didn't actually manage to read a lot of the books I wanted to. I had picked a lot of quite short books. May is already going a bit better because I've already managed to finish a couple of the longer books that had been ongoing for a while. I'm saying I don't feel like I've been too ambitious in my May TBR, but that may not seem to be the case when I actually go through what books I'm planning to read. There's sort of two main focuses. One is I want to get through some of the library books that I have out, which at the moment are due back in June when the libraries will hopefully be reopening. Not sure yet, waiting for the next announcement from the UK government about how long lockdown will be carrying on for or if they're relaxing any of the restrictions. But I want to work through some of them. I have finished a few already that are ready to go back, but I have a few more. And then I also have been very generously gifted some books. There's been a trend of Amazon wishlist gifting going on Twitter recently, and I've given quite a lot of books out, but I've also received a few, so I'd like to read some of them in May as well. So as usual in my TBRs, these are general, I think I might want to read this, but I am a bit of a, well, I'd say a bit of a mood reader. I am very much a mood reader, so whether I will pick up any of these or something entirely different, who knows, we'll see. I just realised I left a book downstairs that I was going to talk about. I can't be bothered to go and get it because it's downstairs, so I'll put in a picture when I get to that in a minute. But before I go into those books, I'm going to talk about my staples of my TBR, the stuff that's always on my TBR. So the book that I left downstairs is the book that's from the oldest books on my TBR list that I'm trying to get through. So that is The Embers of Heaven by Alma Alexander. The reason it's downstairs is because I actually did start reading it today, because I've been meaning to read this book for so long. It's a book that I've been really excited about because it's the second book in a series and I really loved the first book. I reread the first book a year ago with the intention of reading the second book straight away, and I haven't done it yet. So I've started it, I'm reading it now, hopefully really going to enjoy it. I think it's more of a companion novel than a direct sequel anyway, but hopefully we'll enjoy that one. I should also say actually that I currently have 13 books on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads. I'll explain a little bit why for some of them in a minute, but that is another goal, is to get that down a little. Also got the ongoing Ducks Newburyport read along, hopefully bringing you the first part of my book diary for that soon. That's been a slog, I'm way behind, but I'm still ongoing with that. So those are two books that I'm currently reading that I'm hoping to, well, I probably won't finish Ducks Newburyport in May, but I'm hoping to make some progress with it and hopefully we'll finish The Embers of Heaven quite soon. On to my book death row. So 3 of the books on my currently reading shelf are my 3 book death row books for April that I didn't get round to in April, but they are all ones that I want to give a good chance to. They're all ones where the concept intrigues me enough that I do want to give them a go. I'm 5 chapters into one of them. I think it's 5 chapters, about 50 pages into one of them, and I'm actually enjoying it more than I was expecting to, because I didn't enjoy the first chapter, but I thought I'll give it one more chapter, give it a chance, and it's proving quite interesting. So that's the Herring Seller's Apprentice. The other 2, I do want to give them a proper chance as well, so that's why at the moment they're on my currently reading shelf. I've realised that's a slight cheat because I'm meant to unhaul them if I haven't read them within the month, but I am giving myself a little bit of leeway with everything that's been going on. My mental health has been all over the place. I've had some really good days, really bad days, but my reading has been, I've been close to slumping, I would say, and that's partly because of some of the books I had ongoing that I've not been managing to get through, and mainly I just had to pick up short quick books that I knew I'd read and enjoy. But now I'm a lot more stable. I feel like I'm back on an even keel, so I'm gonna attempt to tackle those books. But I have also picked 2 more books from my book death row that I'm gonna try and read in May as well, and I think that at least for now I'm going to give myself that little bit of leeway of giving myself a second month. If I really want to give it a try, I can put up my currently reading, and then if I haven't made any attempts to read it within the month, then it can go. So the 2 books I've picked for this month, I used a random number generator again this month. The first book it picked was actually one of the books that's been on book death row the longest, which is The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith. I think this was actually one of my original book death row books when I first set up the project a couple of years ago, so it's long overdue for giving a chance, really. I saw the film a long time ago. I found the first chapter quite intriguing when I read it. We'll see how it goes. The other one I'm actually really excited about because this was one of the books that went on my book death row when I sorted through the companion book club books that I'd been given ages ago and picked out the ones that I thought I might want to read. So this is The Secret Women by Victoria Holt. Now you may remember that another Victoria Holt book, The Curse of the Kings, was my book death row pick for February, and I loved it. Very much of its time, of a period, and a little bit problematic in places, but I really, really enjoyed that book, so I'm really excited to have this one to read in May. And then for my read around the world, I'm rolling over a book. So my read around the world in April, one I am currently reading at the moment. The other one I didn't pick up, but another of the books that was on my list counted for read around the world without me realising it until I was reading it. So that was good. So I'm rolling over round about £1 a week by Maud Pembers Reads, which actually also fits into the category of books that were gifted to me because I was gifted this for Christmas in the Persephone book swap. The lights don't really like these covers very well, if you can see that. I'm hoping to pick this up very soon. So for the library books, most of them I mentioned in my March TBR. I'll link that for you so you can go back and check that out. Some of those ones I mentioned that I have already read now. Some of them I still have to read. There were 3 that I picked up. Well, actually there were 4, but one of them I've already read. But then there were 3 more that I picked up after filming that and before the library shut. So I'm just quickly going to mention them now. I think they're all YA. So the first is The Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the second book in the Ember and the Ashes series. I read the first one last September and quite enjoyed it, and I've been meaning to carry on with the series, so this one I managed to pick up just before the libraries shut. I'd had it on request and it came in just in time. The next one that I picked up, because it's again a sequel, so this is The Last Beginning. This is the sequel to The Next Together by Lauren James. I read The Next Together in February, really loved it, love everything Lauren James writes, so I've been quite keen to carry on, finish this series, and just managed to sneak into the library. I did a frantic pre-library closing trip because the weekend before lockdown my parents were away helping my brother move, and because of stuff that was happening with my work for the fire service I felt fairly certain that the libraries would be shutting soon, and where I live there's a city library and a county library. The city library where this book came from, I went on to try and renew my library books and saw that they'd already shut the city libraries and had extended all our loans. When I checked the county library website, they were still open, so I had this frantic trip to the library to pick up a load of audiobooks for my nan because I felt fairly sure it would be a short time before they closed, and I have a copy of my nan's library card because she's blind, she can't go out the house, so I used to frequently pick up books for her. I don't do it so much anymore, but because my parents were away I wanted to try and get some more for her, and while I was there I saw this book which I really wanted to read, so I picked this one up. And then because I have this weird thing where I can only borrow library books in pairs, I've mentioned that before, it's a slight OCD anxiety thing, so I needed to pick up a second book and I saw this one. I've heard some good things about this book. This is Ink. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's Ink by Alice Broadway. I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. So this one is about, it's something to do, I think the premise is that everything you've ever done ends up tattooed on your skin. That's about all I know. But I saw the title, I saw the cover, and I thought I'm going to give that one a try. Right, so on to the ones that I've been gifted. I'm very excited about all of these, so I'm really hoping to try and get to at least a couple of them this month, and if not I will probably carry on into June trying to read them. The first one was one of the early wishlist trains. So this was given to me by Ellie Warren, who is at Patchwork Bunny on Twitter. I think she's a book blogger as well. This is The Raven Tower by Anne Leckie. So if you watch my channel frequently, you'll know how much I rave about Anne Leckie. I really loved her sci-fi series, the Imperial Raj trilogy. I have one of her other sci-fi books out from the library as well, but this is her first fantasy book. I don't actually know what it's about, I just love Anne Leckie, so I'm really excited to read it. So it seems to be a fantasy series about a kingdom that has been protected by a god called the Raven, and then suddenly this god, the Raven, disappears and they're trying to figure out what's happened or something like that. Who knows? But I'm super excited. The next book I was gifted is called Once Upon a River by Diane Satterfield. This was given to me by Erica Davis Budgeon, who is Anon She Reads on Twitter. I think again is a book blogger. A book that I really love is The 13th Tale by Diane Satterfield. I hadn't heard of her writing anything else in between. As far as I'm aware, she's not written anything else in between. So when I heard that she had a new book out, it went straight on my Amazon wishlist, and so I was very grateful to receive this. Again, I don't actually know what it's about. Okay, so it's historical fiction about a girl who seems to have drowned and then returned to life. I'm so excited. She just has a really atmospheric style of writing. I remember from reading the 13th tale, so super keen to read this one, give this one a try. The next one is the first one in a series that I hear so many things about on Twitter and on BookTube. It's YA, and I slightly missed it because it was in the period where a lot of YA stuff was coming out, but I was slightly too old for it before I got back into YA, if that makes sense. So it's just one that I missed out the first time around, and I hear so many people talking about it, so I put it on my wish list, and this was gifted to me by Victoria from What Victoria Read, and this is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Riordan, which is the first book in the Percy Jackson series. I don't know, I feel like I should know about this. I know it's to do with Greek gods, and Percy Jackson is the son of one of the gods, I think. I'm sure I'll find out. But I've heard so many good things about this series. A lot of booktubers I really like and respect really rave about the series, so really super duper keen to get into that one. And then the last one I received actually came on, I think it was Friday this week, when I was having a really bad day, and this really cheered me up. And it's actually probably the one I'll get to the first because it's the shortest. So this was gifted to me by Katie P. Boyle. I've not managed to find her Twitter handle, so I haven't been able to thank her in person. So if you're watching, Katie, thank you so much. This is The Deep by Rivers Solomon. Now, I read An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon in March? Yeah, in March. And really loved it. They are a really talented science fiction-y type author. This is quite short. This is a novella. I think it's slightly more fantasy, urban fantasy. The concept sounds so interesting. So it's about water-dwelling people who are the descendants of African women who were thrown overboard and drowned during the slave trade. And the main character, Yetu, is their memory keeper. I think it kind of is a little bit of a Little Mermaid retelling, or at least conceptually it sounds like that. Rivers Solomon just is such a talented writer. I really fell in love with their writing style when I read An Unkindness of Ghosts, so really excited to read that one, and I think probably the one I will get to first out of all of these. Not definitely sure though. We'll see how the mood takes me. So nearly there. I just want to briefly mention there is a read-along taking part, readathon, read-along thing. So I would call it a readathon, but actually on Twitter they call themselves a read-along, which confuses me every year. But it's a Disney read-along, which was the first readathon I took part in before I actually started my BookTube channel. So it's one that I take part in every year. And it happens in May, and it is running from the 10th to the 16th of May. There are 5 prompts. So the prompts are: Onward, read a book with magical creatures or beings in it. Frozen 2, read a sequel. The Great Mouse Detective, read a mystery or thriller. Lady and the Tramp, read a book with romance in it. And A Cover Is Not the Book, read a book you judged by its cover. I've picked 2 books that meet all 5 of those challenges because it's only a week-long readathon and these are both quite short. I think some of the other books I've picked for the month as well also meet some of the challenges, so I'm not too worried if I read both of these really quickly at the start of the readathon because I have others that will help meet some of those other challenges. These were both books that I didn't quite get to in April that I wanted to. So the first one is The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie. So this is for the mystery thriller prompt. This is the first book in the Tommy and Tuppence Partners in Crime series, which I've been meaning to get to. It's also one of the oldest books on my TBR, so it's a really good one for me to try and tick off. And then the other one meeting all the other prompts is The Jinni Key by Bethany Atazadeh. This is the second book in the Stolen Kingdom series by her. This one focuses on a love story between a mermaid and a Ginny, who are both mythical or magical creatures. It's a sequel, and so judging by the cover, I didn't exactly judge this book by the cover, but I love this cover and recently found out that for various reasons, Bethany Atazadeh has had to change the covers, and I don't like the new cover as much, so I'm loosely interpreting that as I'm judging the new cover because it's not, I don't think it's as good as this cover. That's just my personal taste, because I think this cover is absolutely beautiful, and she had very legitimate reasons for having to change them, and she's also had to change the cover, or she's reissued the covers for the first book as well. So I might end up buying more copies so that I have a matching set, because the third book comes out later this year, which will have the new style of covers, and I think it goes on to the spine as well, but I'm not entirely sure, so I may be tempted to buy extra copies, which isn't something I do regularly unless I really, really love the book and the author. So anyway, so this meets all the other 4 prompts. So I said I wasn't going to have a really ambitious TBR for May. It may sound to you like it is quite ambitious, but as I say, being a mood reader, I may or may not pick up any of these, so we'll have to see. And I also have the other library books that I haven't managed to read yet, which are all on my March TBR, and the 13 books that I am already currently reading. Saying that, I have already finished 3 books in May, which I'm quite pleased with. It's only the 3rd of May and I've already finished 3 books. They were all ones that I had been reading already, but I mean, that's good. So we'll see how I get on with that. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, which ones you think I should get to soonest. Are you taking part in any readathons, read-alongs? I know there's loads going on in May. There were so many, I really wanted to take part in more of them, but I actually sometimes find, although they motivate me to read more, I sometimes find trying to stick to prompts really challenging, so I don't tend to take part in that many anymore unless it's like 24-hour ones or something like that. So yeah, let me know what readathons you're taking part in. Let me know what you thought of any of these books if you've read them. Please like this video if you liked it, please subscribe if you haven't already, and you can also follow me on my social media. All that information is listed for you in the description box below. So I am on Twitter, I'm on Goodreads, and I'm now on Instagram as well. So go check me out in those places if you want to see more frequent updates about what I'm reading. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!